So okay ma. So good afternoon everyone. So please don't talk ma. Good afternoon everyone. Today I am going to start the class. Topic is service oriented architecture. So before going to explain this service oriented architecture, first of all we have to learn about the system models for distributed and cloud computing. System models for distributed and cloud computing. So what is mean by system models for distributed and cloud computing? So in this, one second ma, I have to start the recorder. Okay ma. So distributed and cloud computing systems are built over. So are you able to hear my voice ma? Not. So distributed and cloud
Yes, ma'am.
okay ma. Distributed and cloud computing systems are built over a large number of autonomous computers nodes. Okay. So what is the point ma? Distributed and cloud computing systems both are built with large number of autonomous computer nodes. So whatever distributed and cloud computing means what ma? So we are going to distribute the files from one node to the another node, and cloud computing is nothing but it is also distribute the data, but it also stores the data. Whatever the users given, the data also stores. So those things are built with a large number of autonomous computer nodes. These node machines, these nodes machines are interconnected by whatever the nodes are used to build with built by the cloud computing and distributed systems. These are interconnected by the SAN, LAN and WAN. What is mean by SAN? Storage area network. In the last class we have discussed image. So in this we are having this storage area network, local area network and wide area network. So storage area network means in order to store the data. Local area network, locally the public will be interact with each other. Wide area network means complete overall world will be use this internet in order to interact with the each other. So these are the three types of networks we are going to use, that is interconnected by the nodes, node machines. Node machines means what ma? What distributed and cloud computing systems. Both are built with the large autonomous computer nodes. These node machines are interconnected by the SAN, LAN, WAN, in hierarchical manner. So with today's networking technology, a few LAN switches can easily connect hundreds of machines. So whenever we talk about the local area network, local area network switches can easily connect hundreds of machines at working as a cluster. What cluster is nothing but group of same or similar things. Cluster is nothing but group of same or similar things. It means group of computers. In the LAN switches we can use the hundreds of machines working together, that is called the cluster. Group of things we can say it is a cluster. In this group of cluster what we are having, large number of LAN switches, those are connect with hundreds of machines. So that is called the cluster. A WAN can connect many local clusters to form a very large cluster. So what one point is that local area network contains the switches that are connected to the hundreds of machines that forms a cluster. If we talk about the wide area network, that wide area network can connect many local clusters. So one local cluster is what ma? In that local cluster we have one local cluster we are having number of machines that is connected with the switches. Now that like local clusters we are taking number of that group of number of local clusters is called number of local clusters are connected with the wide area network. Okay, a wide area network can connect many local clusters to form a very large cluster of clusters, very large clusters of a cluster. In this sense we build a massive systems. In this sense we are going to build a massive systems with millions of computers connected to the edge networks. So are you able to understand ma what is mean by distributed and cloud computing system? So distributed and cloud computing systems are built with the large autonomous computer nodes. These machines are interconnected with the three networks, that is SAN, WAN, LAN. Okay, that are connected in the hierarchical manner. So now the LAN switches are connected to the hundreds of switches that is collectively called as one cluster. that one type of local cluster, that type of so many local clusters is connected to the WAN. So that is become a very large clusters of the cluster. So this like one can build a massive system with millions of computers connected to edge networks. So this is the one distributed and cloud computing. The massive systems are considered scalable, highly scalable and reach. Massive systems already we have discussed in the first topic. Scalable computing over the internet, we having one diagram. So in this diagram we are going to use MPPS, massively parallelism, massively parallel processing. So this is called the massive systems. Massive systems contains the so many computers. Those are combinedly called as collectively called as they are collectively and cooperatively interacted with each other. That is called massively systems. Massive systems are considered highly scalable and reach web scale connectivity either physical or logically. So in this we are using the clusters. In this we have four groups. One is a clusters, P2P network. Already we have discussed in the previous class. Now see once this one computing grids. So if you see that we can understand. So this is a P2P computing. Sorry, 1 second. This is so this is a computational grids, grid computing infrastructure. These are the classes we are going to use in the massive systems. Okay. So in these massive systems we are having clusters, P2P, network computing grids and internet clouds. Time 2:30. Computing grids and internet clouds. So these are the four groups we are using in the massive. So whatever these four clusters, P2P networks, computing grids and internet clouds we have discussed in the last class. So now we are going to use in this massive system. So this can be supported in this massive system. So grid families, these are things. So cluster means what? A group of similar things. They are connected with each other. So okay na. So if you see the cluster diagram in the previous class, we have talked about the diagram of the cluster. In this cluster, we having these so many servers. They are connected with each other to the internet. That is called gateway. Between that gateway, that provides the communication between the internet and the cluster. Okay na. So now we are going to cluster. So P2P was peer-to-peer network. Okay, peer-to-peer network means already I told that. Peer-to-peer network means in this we having virtual and physical computers. Somebody asked me the one doubt also on that P2P network. Okay, so this P2P networks contains the physical, virtual network, virtual and physical networks. Okay, na? So whatever the systems are there in this system, we can add the new systems and we can remove the new system. Whatever the systems we are going to add this in the P2P network, we have to provide the peer IDs. Okay, now if you want to add the nodes in that system, we need to give the peer node IDs. So if you want to remove that, we can remove the ID numbers that will be removed from the group system. So this like the communication will be occurred in the P2P network. That is called the P2P. Next we having the network, computing grids. Computing grids also we have listened about the computing grids and internet grids. So these are the different things we are used in the massive systems. So huge. In terms of node number, these four system classes may involved hundreds and thousands of or even millions of computers as participated nodes. So whatever we are saying that distributed or grid, distributed or cloud or massively, whatever we are saying in this massively system. So these four classes we are using the hundreds, thousands and millions of computers, nodes are participating in this communication. These machines work collectively, cooperatively and collaboratively at various levels. Okay na? So what is the point? So whatever the massive system we are using, in this we are using flow classified groups. One is cluster, second one is P2P, third one is computing grids, and fourth one is internet clouds. So whenever we are using these types of system classes, it contains the hundreds, thousands and millions of nodes, millions of computers as a nodes, computers are participating nodes. So these are these machines work collectively, cooperatively and collaboratively at various levels. Okay na? This is called the system models for distributed and cloud computing. So are you able to understand ma what I have discussed now? Distributed and cloud computing ante ardhamaindamma meeku? Are you able to understand? So please mute ma, keep in mute. If you have any doubts regarding this point, you can ask me. Okay. So system models and distributed and cloud computing, regarding this topic point, you have any doubts, you can ask me. So anybody have doubts ma? Are you able to understand this topic? So next I am going to service oriented architecture. Okay, service oriented architecture. So in this service oriented architecture, so so coming to service oriented architecture, one second ma. Service oriented architecture. So in this service oriented architecture, in grid or web services, Java and Corba. Corba is a language. Okay na? Java and Corba, C-O-R-B-A, Corba. In grid or web services, Java and Corba are entities is respectively a service, a Java object and a Corba distributed object. A Java object and a Corba is a distributed object in variety of languages. Okay na? So whatever the languages we are using, that is Java and Corba, we can say Cobra, not Cobra, it is Corba, C-O-R-B-A, Corba. These are the different types of entities or objects we are using in a variety of languages. This architecture builds, so this architecture builds on the traditional 7 open systems. This architecture builds 7 open systems interconnection. Open system interconnection in the shortcut OSI. Already you know that, you have learned in the computer networks. Open system interconnections that provided the 7 layers will be contained in the OSI layers. So we are seeing that OSI layers here. So in this we having some different layers. So we can see that in the diagram. So before going to explain that diagram, we have to know some explanation about this service oriented architecture. So this OSI layer, this architecture built with the traditional 7 open system interconnection layers that provide base networking abstractions. On the top of this base software environment, which would be .NET or Apache or Axis for web services, the Java virtual machine for Java, and broker network for Corba. These are the 2 things we are going to use in this architecture. So what is the 2 things ma? In the network, in this service oriented architecture, we are going to build the architecture with the traditional 7 open system interconnection layers that provide the base networking abstractions. On this top of this base software environment, we are going to use the .NET or Apache, the web services like Java virtual machine for Java, broker for Corba. On the top of this environment, one could build with higher level environment reflecting the special features of the distributed computing environment. This starts with entity interface and inter-entity communication. So these are rebuilt with the 4 OSI layers, but the entity is not a bit level. So they are shown in this layered architecture for the distributed entities in web services and grid systems. So whatever the architecture we are talking about, this in this architecture we are using the 7 layers. The 7 layers is called already we have learned, that is represented by the open system interconnection. So in this open connection intersection we are using some networking abstraction, that is .NET and Apache. And these web services uses some languages languages like Java. For Java we are using the platform that is Java Virtual Machines. For Corba we are using the platform that is Broker Network, and this is comes under the higher level environmental. This is reflecting the special features of the distributed computing environment. Okay na? For this we are using the only 4 layered architecture for distributed entities used in the web services and grid systems. So next we are having the SOA is evolving the distributed so see that here. So for example, a service if you see that layered architecture, before going to explain in this we having some layers. So before going to explain this layer architecture for web service and grid, so in this SOA is the evaluation of distributed computing based on the request or reply design model for synchronous and asynchronous applications. So it mainly used for SOA, service oriented architecture is mainly used for distributing computing based on the request and reply design model, and in the form of asynchronous and asynchronous. So whatever the applications we are using, that is logic, business logic or individual functions, are modularized and represented as a service for consumer and client applications. And for example, I have these are whatever the services we are using, that services are loosely coupled nature. Okay, so that services is independent of the implementation, and these are mainly used these applications for composing one or more services without knowing the service underlying implementations. So this is called the service oriented architecture. Next, coming to the layered architecture of web services and grid, web services and grid. Now coming to the layered architecture, if you see the diagram, this is the diagram of the layered architecture. So the entity interface corresponds to the web service description language. In the shortcut we can say it is a WSDL Java method. So web service description language, WSDL Java method, and Corba interface definition language, ideal specification in these example distributed system. Okay na? So these are the different things we are using in the distributed system. So these interfaces are linked with the customized high level communication systems, that is SOAP, SOAP, RMI and IIOP. Okay, in the interface linked with the, so in the these are the 3 examples in the 3 examples. Okay, see, if you see this is the layered architecture. In this layered architecture we are going to have the in this layered architecture we having the different languages, that is description, web service description language, Java method and Cobra, and ideal interface definition language and specification. In this example distributed system, these interfaces are linked with customized high level communication systems, that is SOAP, RMI and IIOP in the 3 examples. So these communication systems support features including particular message patterns, that is remote processor call or RPC. In the shortcut we can say RPC. So these are the things we are going to use. It is mainly perform the fault recovery and specialized routing. And routing purpose we are also used for this layered architecture, okay, such as WebShare, MQ, Java Message Service, which provide rich functionality to support the virtualization of routing, senders and recipients. So in this case, a fault tolerance, the features of web service reliable messaging frame mimic on the OSI layer capability. So in this we are use the TCP fault tolerance. TCP fault tolerance means your transport control protocol. So it will be you mainly use for tolerating the faults when we occurred in this layered architecture. It will be modified to match the different abstractions such as message versus packets, virtualized addressing and entity levels. Security is critical capability that either uses or re-implements the capabilities seen in the concept such as internet protocol security, IPsec and secure sockets in the OSI layers. So these are things we are used in the layer architecture. So this is the diagram we are having. In this diagram, if you see the higher level services, service context, service internet. So these three are the layers comes under this upper part of these service interfaces, and bit level internet means it will be comes under a down. So in this we are using the HTTP, FTP, XDR, session, transport layer, network layer, data link layer. So these are comes under these are the 7 layers. So regarding these 7 layers, presentation layer, session layer, transport layer, network layer and data layer comes in the bit level internet. So in these upper layers, application layer and that's what only one layer is comes under this higher service context service internet. Okay, so this is the things working of this architecture. Okay, and in this architecture we are using the OSI layers. Okay, so here one might get several models, for example web services and tools. Okay, in this example, in this layered architecture, we are using some examples, that is Java distributed object model, the Cobra traditional service, UDDI, universal description, discover and integration, LDAP, that is lightning directories access protocol, and this like so many languages, markup languages. These are the different language examples we are going to use in this layered architecture and web service and grids. Okay, so if you see this diagram clearly, in this we are using the management services. Okay, includes the service state, lifetime support, for example Cobra lifecycle and precedent states, the different enterprises, Java beans models, so life models. Okay, and web service specifications. So these are comes under the layered architecture. Okay, now so next coming to the web service. So okay, ma. Next coming to the introduction to grid architecture and standards. So grid computing is a form of distributed computing whereby super and virtual computers is composed of the cluster network, loosely coupled network computers acting in a concert to perform very large tasks. So in this grid architecture and standards, we are going to use the distributed computing, that is in the form of super and virtual computers. Those are composing the cluster of network, and whatever the computers we are taking that are loosely coupled and acting to perform very large tasks. So in this grid computing is growing the technology that facilitates the execution of large scale resources intensive applications on geographically distributed computing resources. In this we are using different facilities, that is flexible, secure, large scale resources, sharing among dynamic collections of individuals, resources, communities, So and to share the geographical distributed resources as the pursue common goals. These are the different goals we have to access in this grid architecture and standards. So coming to the next is the criteria of the for a grid. Criteria for grid. Hello, are you able to hear my voice, ma? Voice వినిపిస్తుందమ్మా మీకు? Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, ma.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
Okay, listen. So coming to the criteria for a grid, ma. So in this criteria for a grid, we are going to use some rules of this grid, ma. So some of the rules of the grid coordinates the resources that are not subject to centralized control. So coordinate the resources means what, ma? So in the cloud computing we having different resources, so those resources are coordinate with each other and they are not as a centralized control. So whatever the resources we are using, those are not controlled by the centralized computing. So okay, na, they are coordinated and they are work with each other. So that is called the coordinated resources. Uses standard open general purpose protocols and interfaces. So these are the general purpose protocols, open uses standards and interfaces. So in this grid and cloud computing, so we are mainly uses the some standards. Standards is nothing but now I told that some of the standards we are using in this like universal description, discovery and integration, LDPA, lightning discovery access protocol, BXML, okay, XTML, HTML. So these are the different standards we are going to use in this grid. And general purpose protocols means what is nothing but protocols. So in these protocols we contains the set of instructions regarding this standards. We are going to follow that protocols and interfaces. Interfaces is in between communication, we are going to use the interface. Deliveries non-trivial qualities of service. So these are the benefits. And understand underutilized resources. Underutilized resources means in the cloud, if you talk about the cloud, in the cloud we having some resources that is underutilized. Resource load balancing, and whatever the resources we are having in the cloud, that can be balance the load and it can be tolerate whatever the problems we have, that can be have capacity to tolerate that problems. Data grid, compute grids, collaborations of virtual organizations, these are the criteria of the grids. Next, coming to grid applications and data computational intensive applications. Okay, ma. So grid applications, data and computational intensive applications. This technology has been applied to computationally intensive scientific, mathematical, academic problem like drug discovery, economic forecasting, seismic analysis, back office, data processing in support of e-commerce. A chemist may utilize hundreds of processors to screen thousands of components per hour. So teams of engineers worldwide pool resources to analyze terabytes of structural data. So meteorologist SICA virtualize and analyze the petabytes of climate data with enormous computational demands. So these are the applications of the grid. Next, resource sharing. So why we are using resource sharing? So computer storage, sensor networks, computers resource, what are the, I told that in this cloud we are having some resource sharing. So this is the resources, computers, storage, sensors, networks. Sharing always conditional, sharing always conditional. Issues of trust, policy, negotiation, payment, coordinated problem solving, These are called sharing always conditional. So distributed data analysis, computation, collaboration. So this is mainly used in the resource sharing. Next, coming to elements of grid computing. What is mean by elements of grid computing? In the grid computing, we having so many elements. So first one is cloud resource sharing. So resource sharing means already I told now. So that is called computer, data storage, sensor networks. Sharing always conditional issues like issue of trust, policy, negotiation, payment, and these also comes under the elements of the grid computing. And coordinated problem solving. What is mean by coordinated problem solving? The distributed analysis, computation collaborations, dynamic, metallic institutional, viral organizations, community overlaps on classic organization structures, large or small, static or dynamic. So these are the different problems we are occurring that can be used for this can be solved by the grid computing elements. Okay, next coming to next coming to dynamic multiple institutional virtual organizations. So in this we are having community overlaps and classic organization structures, large or small, static or dynamic. So next coming to grid topologies. So in these grid topologies we having some types. One is intra grid, extra grid. What is mean by intra grid? Local grid within an organization. So if we talk about the local grid, the local is nothing but within one organization, office, school, campus. These are called one organization. Within the local, we can say one. We can also say one organization. That is called the intra-grid. Trust based on personal contrast. Okay, so this is come under the intra-grid. Next coming to extra-grid. Extra-grid is nothing but it is the resources of the customer of organizations connected through a virtual private network. So trust based for business or business contrast. Okay, na? This is called the extra grid. Okay, na? So next first we have talk about the intra. Now intergrid. Intergrid is nothing but global sharing of resources through the internet. Global means from all worldwide we are going to share the resources through the internet. It is trust based on certification. Okay, so these are the three things we are using in the grid topologies. Okay, now one is intra-grid, extra-grid, inter-grid. Okay, now three types. Next coming to computational grid. So a computational grid is a hardware or software infrastructure that provides that are inexpensive access to high end computational capabilities. Okay, and in this grid computing system it deals with data controlled sharing and management of large amount of distributed data. So the data grid has storage component of a grid environment like scientific and engineering application requires to access a large amount of data in a widely distributed nature. Okay, na? So these are the examples we are having: biomedical informatics research network, in shortcut BIRN. The next example is the Southern California Earthquake Center. So these are the examples of the computational grid. Okay, so up to here we have discussed about the software service oriented architecture. So in the next class we can continue the next topic. So if you have any doubts, ma. Hello.
Madam.
Hello. Ma, are you able to hear my voice, ma? Please keep in mute, ma.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you have any doubts you can ask me regarding this topic, ma. Hello.
No doubts, madam.
Okay, ma. Shravani,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, ma. If you have any doubts you can ask personal also. Okay, call me, I will tell that doubts. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma. So I will continue in the next class, ma. So time also completed. So I am taking the attendance. 1 second. Okay, ma. Thank you.